Thank you everyone for joining us today. This webinar is hosted by Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation. We have a slogan, we say little drops, big changes. In this corner of the world, we're doing little things, and we're hoping that with the little things we're doing, that we can make big changes to lives around. We do have loads of testimonies for the good things that Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation has done in the past 10 years. If you visit our website, you will see testimonies of past beneficiaries and all the work that the foundation has been doing. We also have a YouTube channel. You can visit our YouTube channel and you will see what we're doing. We're working together to make life better for everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. Today's topic is Introduction to Artificial Intelligence. We will not take too much of your time, but I would welcome you now on behalf of the chairman, Sir Oladende Olusoga Joseph, Rear Admiral Retired, CON, MNI, and other distinguished trustees of the Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation. I welcome all of you to today's session. I welcome our facilitator specialist who's joining us from South Africa. Thank you very much, madam, for joining us. I welcome all the volunteers around the call. I know some of our volunteers are around the call. The project team, all those that make Rehoboth a good foundation and one that we are proud of. I say thank you and welcome to today's webinar. We have had a series of webinars in the past. We've hosted workshops and webinars, all trying to empower young people to be able to do things better. We had our first workshop, which the foundation sponsored in 2015. It was organized by a HR company called The Workplace, and we paid for 13 people to attend that workshop. But subsequently, we started organizing the workshops ourselves so that we can make more impact on more people. The first one we held by ourselves that we organized was held in Ekiti State, and 55 students participated. This was followed by 2 more workshops in 2019. We held one in Uniben, where 88 students participated. And in Futo, Federal University of Technology, where 60 students participated. But post-COVID, we started hosting the workshops virtually because during the COVID, we couldn't go physically to the universities and the locations that we would love to go to. We had our first virtual webinar in 2020. It has a title, Personal Innovation, Creating a Sense of Urgency. In September 2020, we hosted the second virtual webinar, titled Writing a Good Business Proposal. And in April last year, we hosted the third one, Fundamentals of Digital Marketing. We had a fourth webinar in August 2021, and the theme was Entrepreneurial Skills, a bailout for unemployment. And then the most recent one was in November last year. We had Dr. Bani come talk to us about the role of positive parent-teacher communication in teaching. We have video recordings of all these webinars available on our YouTube channel. I think the channel name is Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation. These details will still be shared down the road. Today's webinar is on artificial intelligence, and it's a topic that we have chosen because it is the desire of the foundation to empower young people and help them acquire relevant skills that can support their career development, and for those that want to work for themselves, skills that can support self-employment. Today's webinar is aimed at demystifying artificial intelligence, and I look forward to it because it's actually a mystery to me, and revealing career opportunities embedded in acquiring data science skills. After today's session, the foundation will sponsor 30 students, 30 participants from this program today on learning more about the subject. I think there are conditions for the selection of the 30 people that will participate on the further and more detailed teaching on the subject. Some of these have been posted on our social media handles, but I'm sure that the manager would also explain further down during this webinar on the things you need to do to qualify to be part of the 30. I said it already before we started officially that people should put in their full names and their locations in the chat box, and this is to help us capture participation and make sure that we don't leave people out. There are points for you participating and staying on from the beginning to the end. It won't take too much of your time. It's a very technical topic, but we're hoping that within 90 minutes we'll be able to get through this. And now I think some of these details are already on the website, where there's a first prize of 50,000 naira, a second prize of 30,000 naira, and a third prize of 20,000 naira. And there will be consolation prize of 10,000 naira to 5 people. I think the conditions are for you to register for the webinar, which by being on this program, you have met that condition. You attend a webinar and the follow-on training, and then you submit your mini project, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. More details will be given on this down the road. I don't want to take too much of your time. I will now introduce the speaker in order for you to have the confidence that you're not wasting your 90 minutes this morning. We have brought to you a qualified facilitator. Mrs. Opeoluwa Iwashokun is a passionate data scientist with vast industry experience from basic through mid-level senior roles in IT, oil and gas services, and the finance sector. She has worked with various forms of data, and she has technical expertise from many enterprise-wide projects. Her career kicked off as a software developer with keen interest in back-end operations and system functionality, which led to her discovery and embrace of data science, even as the subject matter gained popularity. In recent times, she founded Data Intelligence Lab for training and consulting services in data science. This is geared towards providing a clear explanation of data science in the real world through an initial free introductory training on YouTube. She holds a certification in DASCA as a senior big data analytics, and currently she's a graduate researcher in artificial intelligence at the Department of Applied Information Systems, University of Johannesburg. Thank you, Mrs. Iwashokun, for joining us. Thank you so much. I know your schedule is tight, but thank you for taking this on. The floor is now yours.
Thank you, Mrs. Komolafe. Thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you, Rehoboth Foundation. You're doing a great job touching lives, helping people. Thank you to all the participants as well for being here today at this webinar. I promise you that it's going to be a time worthwhile, and well, I hope you're as excited as I am to listen to artificial intelligence. It's a topic that has got a lot of buzz around it, but today I'm going to be demystifying the topic, artificial intelligence, talking about it, telling you why you should get on it, and telling you the basics around it. It's not as far up there like people think. So artificial intelligence is the new norm, is the world we live in, which we need to embrace, right? So I'm always excited to talk about this topic. It's my area of interest. It's my area of research. It's something I've been doing for quite a while now, even from the very basics of all the various enablers in artificial intelligence. So without much ado, I'm going to share my screen now, and then we'll go into the talk around artificial intelligence. So at some point, we're going to have an interactive session. We're going to have like an open house, discussion. I really like you to participate. I'd like you to share your comments even while I'm talking. You can also drop your questions in the question area. Please feel free. It's something I really want to be interactive, and I want us to gain a lot. And what is most important for me is that I really want more people to get on this journey. And for those who are already on that journey, I want us to take it to the next level, right? So I'm happy I'm doing this with Nigerians, with my fellow citizens. So I'm also, a Nigerian, and I'm happy that we can go all on this journey together. We need to take the world. We need to get on AI. Thank you. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, cool. Please confirm if you can see my screen and that you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Let me just do a full screen mode. Okay, cool. So demystifying artificial intelligence is the topic before us today. And before I go into explaining what artificial intelligence really is, I would like to talk about the enablers of artificial intelligence. What makes artificial intelligence? What makes it up? What makes it something that it's now what we are all interested in? So artificial intelligence really is not new. It's something that has been a byproduct of various, creation and thoughts of the human mind, right? So it's the thoughts and creations of an intelligent mind into a machine. It's a combination of two words, artificial and intelligence. Intelligence is something that is innate to man. It's something that we do, is something that we have. But then bringing this into a machine is what we now refer to as artificial intelligence. And it's an offshoot of many factors and many human developments. As men continue to do work, as men continue to live, we continue to redefine the way things ought to be done. Artificial intelligence is something that is also very synonymous with 4IR. 4IR is a term of revolution that characterizes the knowledge age. So we use video. Let me stop and share again so I can share my sound. Please listen attentively to.
We are wondering what is happening to the world. Everything is changing.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change.
Our bodies will be so high tech, we won't be able to really distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial.
Inside our own heads is the most complex arrangement of matter in the known universe.
You might ask yourself, can we get to be superhumans?
The original Industrial Revolution was driven by the discovery that you could use steam engines to do all kinds of interesting things.
But that was followed by additional revolutions for electricity and computers and communications technology. We're now in the early stages of the fourth industrial revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
With the ability to visualize brain activity, for example, through a simple consumer-based EEG device, it gives us access to ourselves in ways that we've never before thought possible. It unlocks the black box that is the brain and enables us to really, truly be able to realize an identity that is aspirational.
There's now a scientific foundation for the effects of mindfulness on the brain, on the genome, on biological aging. And when the human mind does know itself, then you get the potential for a new renaissance that restructures itself in terms of our relationship to life, our relationship to the planet, our relationship to work.
We need a different economic model. And by that I don't mean capitalism versus communism. What I'm talking about is a shift in the system along the lines of the two big changes that happened in the 20th century, Keynesianism, with a much greater focus on health and education and the role of government working with business, and then a reaction against that in late century to neoliberalism, where the focus was on free markets, freedom of the individual, and getting governments out of the way. We need a shift to a new system that will allow us to meet the basic needs of every human on the planet, that will live within planetary means, that will be fairer, and that will be focused as its key goal, not on growth per se, but on maximizing human well-being. And history tells us that a values shift is triggered by creation of a new story about how we want to live.
I see the circular economy as something which fits very closely with mankind's goal to be innovative and creative and to always progress. We can use asset tracking, we can use IT, we can use 3D printing to enable this different economic model to recover materials, feed them back into the economy, and really to decouple growth from the resource constraints we have.
The reason we live in cities is not different today than it was 10,000 years ago. Even if we have got networks connecting us, we still want to have places where we meet in person. So this means the place where we work and the place where we live are much closer to each other, a city where we don't need to have big
the prospect of getting rid of plastics. We must not only be inspired or informed by nature, but actually use natural organisms with which to design products and building parts. Only instead of varying material properties, we're varying biological functionality.
Design is critical today because it's the first signal of human intention. So the question of adding quality to quantity, it isn't a matter of simply circulating things that are potentially toxic. It's circulating things that are safe and healthy for all generations. So the goal is no longer, I want to be less bad, less monotonous, less unsafe, less unjust. It's really about a diverse, safe, healthy, and just world with clean air, clean water, clean soil, clean energy.
Together we are fighting to preserve our fragile climate from irreversible damage and devastation of unthinkable proportions.
If we think about the original Industrial Revolution, it was an energy revolution. I like to think of it as a kind of bookending of a period in human history during which we used fossil fuels, and it worked very well for us for a long time. But now we have to bring that to an end. We have energy technologies that can power our civilization: solar, wind, biomass. So then the question is, well, how do we get grid integration? Maybe the wind is blowing in Denmark, the sun is shining in Germany, and now you can move that electricity through an integrated grid. You can supply energy to everyone who needs it, and you can supply energy at all times.
Walking around, you do see different stuff as far as like the body marriage line. They use a lot of things that help them lift up and move things to the car. You just sit there and, program something, and it has its own set mind to go ahead and do everything. And then as humans, we just come in and take the extra steps to help the technology.
It's not the cure-all for everything. There's definitely a lot of things where people perform the operation better, but certainly for the right applications, robotics are a huge improvement for the process.
The prediction of 5 million jobs lost by 2020 to technology is serious, but it's not the main question. Construction, manufacturing, services, public health and education, these industries will still exist. The main question is, what will be the future of work? How will we define work? How will we share the wealth?
From the viewpoint of the labor or jobs, now we really need new education or new training.
We're working with a World in Motion and First Robotics, trying to encourage students from 3rd grade all the way up through the end of high school. We had students make sailboats, and then we had them race them, and so they could see how quickly they could move. And they immediately went back and started to say, oh, I saw what happened, I'm going to go change this or that. And that was 3rd graders.
I just given a prize to a kid of 18 years old that has discovered something really very, very unique. Came up with how to get better productivity and better yields for seeds of corn. And so he basically came with the idea that if you would perforate these seeds, you would get more food. And you think about it and say, but he didn't go to university. So how does he get all that knowledge? And he told me, I mean, I've been watching YouTube since the age of 12, and I'm so interested that I've seen everything about it. I've read everything about it. The world is really open to learning. The thing is, how do you give the incentive to your kids to do that?
It's this ability of digital technology to change outcomes, to truly empower people all over the world that can create a more equitable growth, because I think the world needs that.
Fourth industrial revolution has the potential to make inequalities visible and to make them less acceptable in the future, and hopefully to gather and garner political support to take the necessary decision to reduce the gap.
Humans have always been using tools, but because of the recent advances in technology, we're beginning to have machines that can augment us in all sorts of interesting ways.
I was the first person in the world to be able to voluntarily move my legs while stepping in a robot by exciting the nervous system using electrical stimulators directly onto the spine. We believe that a cure will be possible if enough of the right people have the will to fast-track a cure for paralysis.
We take two things from the patient. First, we take a three-dimensional X-ray, and we extract the three-dimensional data out of that so we can make a perfectly shaped puzzle piece. And then we also take a sample of fat tissue from the patient so that we can extract the stem cells out of those. And we use those stem cells with this three-dimensional scaffold that we fabricate, and after 3 weeks, we have a piece of living bone that's ready for implantation.
Being able to use genome editing to understand the genetic changes that lead to cancer, and technologies like drug delivery, getting molecules into particular types of cells. There's a lot of excitement about being able to move much more quickly on this disease.
One of the things that I think is so essential to free and open societies is freedom of thought. And up until now, the conversation we've been having is around freedom of speech. Once we can access people's thoughts and access people's emotion, we have to create a space that enables people to think freely, to think divergent thoughts, to think creative thoughts. And in a society where people fear having those thoughts, the likelihood of being able to enjoy progress is significantly diminished.
We need to take responsibility at every level of society, from the individual and the personal to the institutional to the global, to adapt to these technological challenges and changes which are redefining what it means to be human, what it means to work, what it means to be completely embedded in this world.
People always ask me if I'm an optimist or a pessimist. The technology exists, but how do we get it and implement it at the scale we need at a price that people around the world can afford?
Even though we have everyday problems we have to solve, we have to find a way to lay the foundations for the innovations of tomorrow.
Great, great, great. I hope you enjoyed that video. It was something about 4 hours, something about artificial intelligence, what the world is speaking to about how it's going to change our world, how it's going to modify the way we live as humans, the way we think. And it kind of really summarizes all that I'm here to do today, but I'm going to run quickly still on my slides, and then I'll also open up quickly to interactive session. I'm sure you've learned a lot from that video, and it speaks to how technology has advanced over the years into bringing us to where we are now in the era of knowledge, in the era of artificial intelligence. If you look at the summary of all that was said, it's about there was a time when men were doing the work, right? So we do the work then using computers, and for us to do more work, we have to do the work more time or get more people to do the work. But then it's an era where we can now make machines to do the work just by, controlling machines. And you can see from that video different ways that people could control machines to doing the work, and then more work gets done. So it's a time of improved efficiency in that era of technology advancement. Okay, so one other key enabler of AI is the internet. The internet actually brought us a connected world. Internet, mobile communication, open source data, open source programming brought about a connected world that increased data and also increased the Internet of Things. And at some points, we also had more data from sensors, right? Sensor devices that generated a lot more data with which we can now create patterns for which machines can learn intelligence. So it's a combination of many enablers. Now, the advent of COVID-19 as well brought more closer to us the need of artificial intelligence. So, and the era of 4IR. Initially, it was as if, we are in the start of 4IR, but now we are in the full wake of 4IR. We're in the full wake of the knowledge era. We are in the full wake of the AI period. So now I'm sure that that most of us are aware of the way COVID-19 has changed the way we live, the way we work, the way we relate. And now most things are hybrid, most things are remote, just like we're having a teaching now that is virtual. So we could say it was a blessing in disguise, or maybe a coincidence of another pandemic, but eventually it brought us to recreating the way we think and the way we do work. So all of this as well couldn't have been possible if there were no increased computing power, in the sense of how devices that could allow us to store more data, or devices that could allow us to do much more processing capabilities into computing. So these are all enablers of artificial intelligence. And also the cloud technology that enables people to be able to use computing resources even without eating deep into their pockets, and for them to be able to quickly leverage on computing resources without having to change infrastructures or devices too often. So these are great enablers of artificial intelligence. And just like I said earlier, AI is simply making machines to think intelligently, and then they can do the work. So AI, mimics human intelligence. It's not human intelligence. It actually mimics the way humans do work. So we are going to look at different aspects of AI very soon. Now, AI is largely based on algorithms and data, right? The rise of big data actually enabled AI to be able to do more, because then we could now look into data and create experiences for which the computer can learn by algorithms and then be able to mimic human intelligence. So that is what AI really is. It has been expressed in different ways, and we can see various applications of it in our different human endeavors. If you are following through with this webinar, I'd like you to drop that. If you're maybe like a fire icon, if this is something that is interesting to you, or make some of your comments in the chat. Let's know how you're following through with the webinar. So AI makes it possible for machines to learn and to adjust to new inputs to perform specialized human tasks. So the whole idea behind machines doing the work is that machines don't get tired, machines can do the same job over and over again, and machines can improve in efficiency. Unlike humans doing the job, humans can, get bored, humans can make mistakes, right? But machines, once it has been programmed, will carry out the same instructions over and over and over again, right? So these are interesting, reasons for AI. Now, there's human intelligence, there's artificial intelligence, and human intelligence can in no way be compared to artificial intelligence, right? There's an aspect of artificial intelligence that is, trying to mimic more AI, human intelligence, but we are still not there yet. But it's something that that keeps improving with more research and science. So human intelligence is something that is innate to man. Is something gifted to us by God that enables us to think and enables us to perform even mundane activities. Things like seeing, walking, moving. These are things we do without even thinking about it, that they are just part of us, and we can't really explain it. AI explainability has continued to study various aspects of human intelligence and then try to, recreate that into machines. But it is just to some extent that we have been able to go in that area of research. I even watched a video recently about scientists back then trying to understand why Albert Einstein was so brilliant. And when he passed on, they actually took out his brain and then they were trying to study the brain and, but yet there was really nothing so forthcoming from that. So that's to tell us that the brain is a black box, that has been, gifted to man by God. And we can only try to mimic the way the brain works and put that in form of artificial intelligence. So now going to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has like two broad parts. We have the artificial narrow intelligence and the artificial general intelligence. So the narrow intelligence focuses on a single narrow task. It's also sometimes referred to as the weak AI. And this is what is prevalent in our society today. This is what we find everywhere. Artificial intelligence being able to do a specialized task like your chatbot, your Siri, your even your applications that you use, artificial intelligence being able to do that. And we even have specialized tasks for AI to be able to do, even in health focus. Artificial intelligence robots can now sometimes perform operations in medical sciences and various areas of narrow artificial intelligence. But the main focus is that it can only do one specific task. You can't find that. And then we are now also having the artificial general intelligence that try to represent the human general cognitive ability. So the machines being able to do many tasks and also being able to think rationally. We have that more in the wake of robots, but we still don't have robots that would express feelings like humans would do. But then it's something that scientists and researchers keep working on, and let's see how it goes in the next few years down the line. So artificial intelligence can be described as an art and a science. It's something that welcomes, is a discipline for various other cross-disciplinary fields. So it's not just the art of doing things. So artificial intelligence can be broadly described as an art, and then there's the science part of it. So the science part of it is the science behind the AI models behind the AI itself, and things like the models and like the algorithms that makes these machines work, and then the data for which it learns. So like we have seen in the video, there are various applications of artificial intelligence, healthcare, even in agriculture for plantings, for crops, for improving yield. If you listen very well to that video, you hear someone in that video mention how he gave funding to an 18-year-old guy who created a new knowledge from perforating seeds and increasing yield. So these are, various ways that, and he did that just by creating some algorithms, and there are various studies, various research. So it has also, we can also see it in the areas of business models. You have things like applications like your Uber. They don't really have any business office, but they operate, everywhere around the world, creating services for people to be able to use. You even have AI in your devices, like your Google, your Google Drive, helping you to move around easily. Many various applications of artificial intelligence. In manufacturing, you have the 3D technology. In entertainment, you have virtual reality. We can see several of them, from the simple ones to the very complicated ones. Now, what are the limitations of AI? These are three broad limitations of AI. There are some more that we could add to this, but I just want to focus on these three. So no artificial intelligence system is foolproof because it works based on algorithm. So I'm sure you all remember when WhatsApp broke some few years down the line, and the whole world went agog, like what's going on. So that's to tell you that sometimes the code can break. And then we also have shortage of skills. And I think that's the main reason for programs like this, to get people excited and get them to understand how they can also participate in the area of artificial intelligence. And it's something, like I said, that is cross-disciplinary, something that is available for participation for everyone, even despite your basic or original field, right? So it's something that should be embraced by everyone. It's actually the new norm. And then another limitation of AI is poor or bad data. So because our AI models learn a lot from data, learn patterns from data. If we have bad data, then we're inherently going to have bad results or insights. Or if this is created into a product, then we're inherently going to have a bad product. And then if we have poor data, our results might be misclassified or might not be representative of what we should actually have. So AI blends a lot into what we call Internet of Things and the fourth industrial revolution. So things like sensors, chips, and the technologies around this have enabled AI to be able to, do more intelligent activities. So I mentioned human intelligence can be able to do mundane activities like we can see, we can walk, we can move easily based on basic intelligence. Yeah, right. Let me just put that as basic intelligence. And we can even perform more expert things by, super intelligence in man. But now, to enable machines to be able to do those things as well, devices created on chips, on logics, known as sensor devices, can also replicate that kind of human experience. So we have sensor devices like the ultrasound sensor devices, with which the ultrasound camera sensor devices, with which machines can be enabled in computer vision models to be able to see like humans will see or mimic the way humans will see. Let me put it that way. We have actuators. These are also sensor devices that will make machines to move like humans will move. So these are things that are embedded into what we call robots, right? That makes it, interesting for us to be able to build the minds, human minds into machines, right? So these are various ways that AI blends into Internet of Things and 4IR. So these are things I also want us to start thinking, start considering. These sensor devices are available online for purchase. You can start, putting that also into consideration in your journey in AI. And AI is very pivotal to digital transformation. It's not always about doing the hard things. It's about improving the process, improving the efficiency, improving the way we work, improving the way we perform tasks, and not just doing tasks in the manual way or with manual effort, right? So talking about Internet of Things and devices, I mentioned sensors. These various sensors can be embedded on a motherboard, a small motherboard computer device known as something like the Raspberry Pi. So this is a picture of a Raspberry Pi with ultrasonic cameras, and this can be built into a machine with which a machine can then see, like human will see. We have the flame sensor. We have various kinds of sensors that can enable a machine to do many things. So these devices, physical devices connected, empowered with algorithms, can create a lot of things around robots. So these are things we work on around the robotics area of AI. So digital transformation, it's about bridging the gap. So like I said, it's not all about the machines, like the physical machines, even softwares that we build in bots like chatbots that can communicate with humans and provide solutions to questions that is being asked. Like a bot is like you're speaking to a bot on the other side of the device, and your questions are being answered. Like the area of office assistants, the area of people who render help can be bridged with various transformation, and we just need to look at how we can bridge the digital gap through AI. So that's about digital transformation. And how do we then solve problems with AI? You might look at it, oh, okay, we've been talking about AI. So we need to actually solve problems with AI. We need to start looking at the areas of Millennium Development Goals. These are the concerns of the world today. We have about 17 Millennium Development Goals. You can go and check about them later. Things around clean air, clean energy, zero poverty, improved education, improved health. These are various problem areas that we can continue to bridge the gap. We can continue to improve. Then Africa in itself has its own peculiar challenges. The world now is looking into creating a lot of solutions with Africa. So we may be disadvantaged, but our challenges are also like opportunities for us to create solutions that catches the world by a storm. Now, you also need to understand that your ideas, your inventions need to be productized. Now, I'm happy to see that we have a wave of many startups in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. So these ideas need to be improved upon. They need to be put into things that we can productize, products that we can use, we can feel, and you can start thinking of startups. So embedded devices, like I mentioned earlier, the sensors. So if you think you are very good with engineering, working with devices, you can also consider the area of Internet of Things, working with devices to create artificial intelligence in operations. So research and innovation build up more on research. We can't create new products except we have done thorough research, and we can then learn from what others have done and then be also able to innovate. And in everything you're also doing, you need to build in design thinking. So design thinking is solving problems creatively, solving problems that are usable for that users can relate with. So design thinking is very important. So I would like to touch on quickly on 4C's rule. So for me, 4C's rules is something that structures the way you get in and operate with AI. So in operating with AI, you need to do a lot of critical thinking and problem solving. Remember, in the limitations of AI, we said that the skills we have a limitation of shortage of the skills. So we need more people to be critical thinkers and people who are willing to solve problems, not just keep complaining about problems. You need to be a problem solver. You need to engage your problem solving activity into creative thinking and into innovation. What are those things you can innovate into problems that you really want to solve? Then you sometimes need to collaborate with others. Now, cooperation a lot of times it helps to gain leverage. It helps to see various aspects of the contributors into how to developing a full-fledged product, right? Or a skilled, an innovation that can really scale, right? So, and then you also need to connect and communicate. So these are things I always preach to people around working with AI. AI is not something you would want to do alone, but it's something you also need to collaborate, you need to communicate, you need to be creative about solving the problem. And then there are various approaches in science to creating products, but I like to pick on this one specifically, which is the EPIC approach. So in solving problems, you can't solve problems that does not catch your attention. So problems must be something that you empathize about. What is that thing that you feel for, you empathize about? So that could be the problem that you might be able to solve or you are created to solve it. And then things that you empathize about, you should be able to problematize them. So you can't solve all the problems. You should be able to speak on a specific problem to solve. And this relates also with AI, artificial narrow intelligence, in the sense that it solves a specific task. So you must choose a specific task that you want to solve. And if you look at various AI models, various AI products, they are into solving particular tasks, specific tasks, right? And then you should be able to then innovate and create. You'll notice that innovation, creation are things that are synonymous to many creation, many approaches to working in AI. Now, this is something I'd like us to do in the next 10 minutes. I'd like us to put in the chat area, maybe based on all that you've been learning now about AI and various applications of AI, who do you think you are? What kind of problems do you think you can solve? And then maybe later on, we can answer on number 3, who can join you with you. But these first 2 questions are things that speaks to how you can begin to rethink in the world of AI and in working with AI. You must understand the problems you want to solve. You must understand how to empathize with this, in the sense that it must relate to who you are and the kind of problems you are trying to solve. And so let me just touch quickly to show us various AI startups in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. I'm sure we all know about Kudi. Kudi is very popular fintech startup in Nigeria, and they are solving problems around making financial services easily accessible to the general populace. We have the aero robotics in South Africa, agriculture. So if you look at these various names, you'll see that they are operating in various application areas of AI. So these are things we also want you to start considering. In what area can you operate in those problems you want to solve, and how do you begin to innovate and productize these problems? Now, there's a process to getting problems solved. I purposely picked on this picture. This is Elon Musk. Elon Musk is from South Africa and is also the brain behind self-driving cars, which is, a very great product of AI. And, Elon Musk said that at some point, people will ask you why you are doing it. And then at some point, they'll ask you, how did you do it? And this can only apply to the process of you applying yourself to learning, building resilience, keep learning, keep improving, and build quickly and fail fast. So don't wait till you have it all figured out. There's the process, there's the approach of building products quickly, testing it in the market, testing it with people, getting feedbacks, and then iterating the steps and creating products and innovation. So we've talked a lot about AI. It's time to start doing a lot more about AI. And I think this is the message I really want to pass across to the participants of today. We need to start creating stuff. We need to start thinking critically and building quickly. So then many a times, sometimes people look at, I want to have funding first before I create my startup or my product. No, there's a concept of the lean startup. The lean startup enables you to leverage on technology that are available out there and that are even very cost effective, like the use of cloud, the use of your cloud resources online to be able to build your algorithms, build your models, or even build business models that run in the cloud without you not having to buy any infrastructure. So think of a lean way to create your startup. Then as you continue to create, think about investors. So investors have a way of quickly scaling up for you on products and innovation. So this is something you might also need to consider. You need to connect. Remember the 4 C's rules. You having to connect to building AI products. Okay, so I'm wrapping up my training, my talk now, and then I want to leave you with these quick quotes, these 3 quotes. And the first one says that ideas are everywhere, but knowledge is rare. So when you're thinking about an idea, you need to know that some other people around the globe might be thinking about the same ideas. It sounds funny, but it's very true. So you need to act quickly on your ideas. Don't keep your ideas to yourself and then keep procrastinating on those ideas. But you need to improve knowledge about those ideas and at some point innovate and productize it. That's a message I bring to you today. And secondly, if it were easy, everyone will do it. So that you're thinking about the idea, many other people around the globe are also thinking about the idea, but if it were easy, everybody would have come up with it. So you need to put in the work. You need to be resilient in building your idea. So if you think it's worth it, like Elon Musk said, when Elon Musk was creating self-driving cars, people were like, what does he think he's doing? But now they're asking him how he did it. So you need to put in the work and you need to get things done. And I leave you with my 3rd favorite quote, which says, Yoshina yo kangai. It's a Japanese proverb made popular in the 1990s by Toyota adverts back then. I remember it very vividly. And then sometimes I think we also had that inscription written on some Japanese TV. And it simply means good thinking, good products. So I'm happy that Nigeria is awakening to startups idea, but now we need to do more. and I need you people on this listening to me as well to get on that boat as well, get on that journey as well. You can leverage on several many hubs around Lagos, around various states or regions in Nigeria to begin to network, to begin to collaborate, to begin to join in building products. Some hubs even have, sections where you can to use their resources use shared resources for minimal amount with which you can think. So the thinking ability, the human intelligence is innate to every man, irrespective of their discipline. I actually love to work with people of various disciplines. And I've seen various digital transformations from people in different arts of discipline, bringing in different arts and emerging into science to create AI. So though people sometimes ask that, oh, I'm into this area, or I learned this course in school, how do I get into AI? Getting into AI is into you doing the hard work, learning, innovating, creating products, and leveraging on hubs, leveraging on companies that provide this facility. So these are ways we can get into it, and we are already in that era. Era is an era where AI is changing jobs. So some disciplines are definitely going to go away. You can't but accept that those disciplines are definitely going to go away. But as those disciplines continue to embrace AI and continue to metamorphose into cross-disciplinary areas of AI, then we begin to gain relevance. So this is the message I bring, that we need to get into embracing AI in everything we do, in our various areas of discipline, and embedding that into bridging the digital gap. So that's the end of my quick training, and I just want to talk about the next plan that we intend to bring to you from Railbot and Data Intelligence Lab in the next few weeks. So in the next few weeks, today you have learned about AI, and I hope that we have a clear understanding of AI, various applications of AI, more importantly, how it applies to you. I'd like you to drop in the comment section what you have learned and how you feel about all that you've learned today, if you're excited about it, and if you're also willing to get on that journey of AI. So for those who are passionate and who want to continue with learning things around how they can create products in AI, in the next 6 sessions, we're going to be having trainings that will introduce you. These trainings are not going to teach you entirely in 6 sessions, no, but they are going to introduce you to applied learning, creating your problems, the problems you want to solve into products that can scale, right? So that's the essence of those 6 sessions. And in those 6 sessions, we're going to learning about AI and desktop mobile platform. I'm going to be using the IDE platform, Alpha Anywhere, which is a less code platform. So I usually do not like to scare people with code at first, but you still have to get onto that part if you really want to take your participation in AI to a great importance. So, but I usually like to start with people from a level of no code or less code. So we are going to be using Alpha Anywhere platform. You can check about that, or even start about that yourself before we start the sessions. Then we're also going to be learning about how to build chatbots, and we are going to be using the Snatchbot tool to do that. You can also check about that. We are going to be having practical sessions, applied sessions, creating problems and then productizing those problems into products that we can test and use. And then we're also going to be having data analytics session, how to work with large data and building models for this data. And then finally, we're going to be having some introduction into creating code constructs with some HTML. I'll teach you about HTML because I find that very relevant, something that you need to know in working with any form of mobile or desktop application. And then Python programming, which is about the most popular programming form that we have now. So these are things to learn quickly in the next 6 sessions. So I encourage you to be a part of it, and there are going to be prizes and a virtual hackathon wherein you are going to present a mini project. I'm always excited about getting things done. You know, whatever we have learned, let's put it into a product, and then let's try to, it's not about the product alone, but it's about the problems we want to solve and how we have thought through the process, the critical thinking we have applied to it. And I promise you that it's going to be an exciting time. I really look forward to seeing us that are in this session in that 6 other sessions as well. So I'm going to stop my talk here, and I'll really love to listen to questions from the participants, to comments, and to feedbacks, and then to also seeing us in the sessions ahead of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Iwashoku. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been an interesting session. So many of us are not, I would say we are novices in this your area, but hearing Python, AI, AIR, you know, all of that brings up more curiosity, and I'm eagerly looking forward to joining the 30 people to learn as much as I can from you. Are you still sharing your screen?
No, I've stopped sharing.
Okay, we have quite a number of questions. We have about 19 questions. I think a while ago we had 101 participants around the Zoom call. We have some other people watching us on Facebook. Thank you so very much. The chat box is very active. The comments just keep rolling in. I guess you can't see all the comments now, but when we share the recording with you, then you can see the comments. It's interesting. Some of our participants are eagerly looking forward to how they can apply AI to bring solutions to so many issues around. I saw a comment whereby a gentleman or a lady said he would like to use AI to get a cure for cancer. Another person said they are looking forward to applying AI to bring solutions to global warming. There's also a blockchain enthusiastic person who says, I want to use AI to take blockchain forward. There's also a comment from somebody in University of Maiduguri saying he's looking forward, or he or she is looking forward to using AI to provide solutions in the agricultural space. There's so many comments. There's also another one where someone believes that AI can help bring solutions to financial and economic recessions. He wants to see how AI would help us with all of that. So many things. I thank you for opening our eyes for people like us who had no knowledge of this area before now. Thank you so much. I'm more eager now to learn more about AI. So we'll start with the questions. I think, I don't know if Edison is on the call now. I will launch the poll. Ladies and gentlemen around the call, thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for those that have put their full names and their locations in the chat box. If you're using a device that does not have your name, kindly put a comment in the chat box with your full names and the location you're joining us from. I will launch the poll now, and after this, we will take the Q&A. I believe Mrs. Iwashoku is taking the cup of water. All right.
Thank you.
So please, just 7 questions, and 102 of us right now. So I will launch it, and please provide your honest answers for us. Thank you so much. Can I test with Dorcas and Grace? Oh, your panelists, so you can't see. Can you please confirm, ladies and gentlemen, if you can see the poll? Just in the chat box, can I get someone tell me yes or no if they can see the poll? Okay, okay. I can see that 2 people have answered, so it's properly launched. Okay, thank you, Afis. Thank you, Musa. Thank you, thank God. Thank you, everybody. Please give us your responses now. Thank you, Jumoke. Give a couple of more minutes. 33 of the 97 of us online have answered. Okay, 40 people now. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Flora Abiola. Hey, Madam Martha, I can see you. Thank you so much. Poll submitted. And Yola Solomon, thank you so much. Akonbi Rokib, thank you. We have 58 out of 97 people. We'll still wait a while. Someone is asking me to relaunch it. Oh dear, maybe you missed it. Thank you, Stanley Naka, for joining us from Enugu State. Thank you. Shola Yeni, thank you so much. Ilori Peace, okay. All submitted, 77 out of 98. I think we have 11 more people. Please submit your poll, the responses to the questions. So Bademuyiwa, thank you so much. Joshua, please, if you haven't put your surname, could you please put your full names in the chat box? I can see one Joshua, but there's no surname. God Deogu, thank you so much. Ibrahim Bulos, thank you. James Daramola, thank you. Joseph Omoha, thank you. We have a few more to go. 82 out of 97 now. We're almost done. Ekundayo Ibrahim, thank you so much. Yeah, we're almost there. All right, Mr. Adebayo Kendi from Ekiti State. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Christopher Gumbodi, thank you. We're almost there. We have 85 out of 97. Faith Olaoluwa Badairo from Lagos. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Isaac Chukwemeka. Okay. Mrs. Iwashoko, are you ready for your questions? Stephen George from Kaduna State, thank you so much. We have 10 more people who haven't responded. Collins Uburu from Ebonyi, thank you so much. It's so good to see the geographical spread. We have loads of participants across from around the country. Thank you so much. Okay, Samuel Frederick, thank you so much. Ikwaye Abdullahi, thank you so much. 8 more people, we're almost there. Rocky Bakombi, thank you. Joshua Ahams. Okay, Oluwalano, okay, we got your full names down, great. Oh, interesting, Air Force Institute of Technology. Thank you so much for joining us, Stephen. We have all that on record now. Farouk Umar, Lawa Farouk Umar from Kaduna. Thank you so much. So 7 more people. Mrs. Iwashoko, as soon as you're ready, I think we should start taking the questions so that we don't keep the participants for too long. Are you ready?
Oh, that's fine.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I won't stop the poll right now. I won't end it yet. I will just leave it for the 6 more people. Thank you, Salis Adam. 6 more people to respond, and then we will end the poll. But for now, let's take the questions in the Q&A box. Wow, we have 28 questions. I thought there were 14 before. Now I'm going to tell everybody that if we're not able to get to your questions, please note that we would get back to you. Mrs. Iwashoko will give us responses, and we'll we either write to you directly, or we'll share all responses to all the questions with all participants so that everybody can benefit. So the first question I'm going to take Mrs. Iwashokun, this is, I think you would have to be very as brief as you can be, because so that we can touch as many questions as we can. Some of them maybe you may have to provide detailed responses after this workshop.
Yes, I think I'm going to provide very brief responses, and then I can provide a much more detailed responses, and then we can share with all participants.
Everybody, okay,
Yeah.
excellent. I want to start with the question from Bayode Taiwo Odunowo. No, sorry, Odunyo. What are some common misunderstandings about AI? Like, is AI being harmful to humans and all that?
Oh, fantastic. So AI has also generated many thoughts, or many thoughts that when machines take over, they are going to destroy things, or maybe they are going to take over our work, or they are going to take over human participation. Right, there are some downsides to AI, right? Like the social aspects of humans. Now you are talking to machines as against talking face to face to humans. We are social beings, right? So those are some downsides of AI, but that doesn't really make AI harmful. I think it's our approach to how we use the AI technology that makes it harmful or not. And there are things around AI ethics, ensuring that AI products are conformable to making for public good for humans, right? So those are ethics that guide the way specialists within the field of AI and the science of AI, the way they operate. So AI products should be basically created for social good and should respect human ethics. So when all of that is in consideration, then we wouldn't really say that AI is harmful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. There's another question that says, okay, I think this question is referring to the video that you shared at the beginning of the program. And this is by Emmanuel Unigwe. Emmanuel Unigwe. Please pardon me if I can't pronounce your surname well. This video was awesome and encouraging, but Africa will always be left behind because most Africans, Nigerians to be particular, cannot afford the cost of data to access the internet and learn. Neither can they get equipment, even down to laptop. So how do we find a way around this major problem? So financing and affordability of what is required to push an interest in AI. Quickly, madam.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Now, we have peculiar challenges in Africa, even in Nigeria, right? But these challenges are things that would also launch us to our opportunities. So I do not always want us to see the challenges, but let's see the silver lining behind the dark clouds. Let's see how we can create solutions to solving these problems. Now, that being said, I want to now answer this question. Now, in answering this question, one very key thing that cannot be taken from us is our intelligence and our experiences. Now, those intelligence and experiences can help us to solve problems that are peculiar to us. The whites are not going to come to solve our problems for us. So we as Africans must solve our own problems. And we need, in solving those problems, we need to go beyond the everyday challenges that faces us. Now, in having access to resources and even data, you need to start rethinking in the area of shared resources. So now, I mentioned in my talk, I mentioned hubs. We have a lot of them in many states now in Nigeria, and we have a lot of people, coming up to create problems that can assist many people. So don't sit in the corner of your space thinking about the problem, but come out and collaborate. Come out and join into networks, into hubs. Most times, these places have free data, free resources that you can use to be able to learn and to be able to innovate. And when you even get into those places, you begin to network and meet with people of like minds. In fact, my career started off with many of these challenges as well in Nigeria. But one thing that really helped me to scale up quickly was the fact that I was networking and collaborating. I was into many of, I was attending conferences, I was attending programs, and I was speaking to people. I was, sometimes even if you don't have access to data, when you get to hubs, CC Hub is an example, Data Science Hub is also an example. There are many hubs in Lagos that I know of. I'm sure there are some hubs too that I've heard about in other states in Nigeria. So these are places you should begin to learn and understand what they are doing and how you can participate, how you can use those shared resources that they offer. Sometimes some of them require maybe a token for registration, but even with that token, you can then have access to their internet, have access sometimes to laptops or other resources that they have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that response. You talked about shared resources, collaboration, and then you listed some clubs. I didn't quite get the list, but I'll get it off you and we'll share it with them, either through email or on our social media handles. Thank you for that response. I'm going to lump two questions together, and you don't have to answer right away, but you can say something generally about that. There are questions from, there's Alao Flora Biola who says, is there AI application in education, especially teaching and learning? Then Hafiz Olawale Sulaiman wants you to shed more light on application of AI in healthcare. So I don't know what you want to say about that. Education and healthcare.
Okay, thank you for those questions. So these are just various areas that we can apply AI. And in applying AI, it's about bridging the gap. Remember, I talked about bridging the gap to improving efficiency, to improving the way we work. So it's not about the big apps. Even the small things we do in technology to improve these things can also be referred to as AI. So now in the classroom experience, we can have things like various technologies like virtual reality in classroom. Maybe that's even on the AI side, but we can have something like using technology to improve learners' experience. So let's not shy away from using technology to improve learners' experience. We can look at, in my teaching experiences with the participants or the students, what are the tools that are available off the shelf that I can use to improve my learners' experience? Even the common tools, you understand, teach the participants, student participants to use technology for good, not just going on online to browse and to go to social media and all that. You can use these things that they like and change it to improving their learning experience. Like, so in the academic environment that I am in, I'm aware that sometimes students can be asked to submit maybe quick talk about topics that they've learned using TikTok or using creating short videos, right? Or even using Kahoot to answer quizzes in classrooms, right? Or maybe in virtual rooms, let me put it that way. I know some schools might not be sophisticated as that to have those infrastructures in place, but sometimes having some learning experience outside the walls of the classroom can help improve learners' experience. And you can just have that, maybe something or having students to do little projects that depict technology. So those are different ways. It's just for teachers to be more creative in the ways they help learners to improve in learning experiences. And it has been proven that people learn more with fun around it. So let's create that, experience, that learning experience. It's something that I always pray for in the area of education. Creating that learning experience that helps students to grasp more what they are learning. And then in the area of health too, there are several of them. I'm going to put that together in the detailed answers to the questions that I'll pass to the Rehoboth Foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. I've put up the website because I could see some questions in the chat box, not the Q&A, asking for how to get to the Foundation's YouTube page and then how to see recording of previous webinars and this particular webinar that we're hosting. The recording will be on our YouTube page, and this is our website. You can get details of our YouTube page from the website, but the YouTube page is actually the name of the foundation. Quickly, Madam, there are so many questions. There's one I'm interested in your answer for my own knowledge. Thank you, Emmanuel Unigwe, for asking again. It looks like I've taken a question from you before. And he says, are ethical issues not also a limitation to AI? Quickly, Madam, because it's quite a lot.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Emmanuel, for asking that question again. So yes, it can be considered as part of the limitations to AI, but the guides around human ethics, makes room for using AI for public good. Remember, I mentioned that. So these are things that is still, under a lot of discussion, right? But the applying this ethics to AI really helps to improve the way we use AI and we create AI into products. I'm going to put in more detailed answer about this in the answers I'm going to send to Rehoboth because of time. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Just process check. Edison, can you hear me? How many more minutes do we have to take questions? Because there are quite a lot.
I think we can stop taking the questions, and we'll probably just send them an email later. That's after the webinar.
Okay. Thank you, Edison. Mrs. Iwashokun, thank you so much. I'll just read out one question. You don't have to answer. Just to give you more time to think about it before you come back to them. I'm sure everybody around the call is also interested in this question. Oguchi Chukwebuka. Thank you so much. How can a student make money from this? The bottom line is money for everyone. So I wanted you to have that because we have 47 questions now. Ladies and gentlemen, we will answer all your questions. Thank you for the interest. We would make sure that you personally
I'll give a quick comment on that.
On the money bit, okay.
Yeah, so I tell you for free, the money-making part now is AI, so get on the journey. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam. Edison, are you taking over?
She wants to have, I think she wants to have an interactive section briefly with a few of them. I don't know how she intends to do that, so we can.
I asked them, because we couldn't do the meeting option, I asked them to drop it on the chat. But I think so far it's been interactive, so we are fine with that. We could just take a group picture if that's okay by everyone. Maybe we all put on our cameras, let's see our faces, and then we take a group picture.
Okay, that would, how do you do that? So who's going to capture the, if you're using a phone, right, or an iPad, I'm using a laptop. Edison, who's going to capture the picture?
So you can just capture it with your phone camera. Yeah.
But Edison has to approve for 90 people. They don't, because it's a webinar, that they're not able to put on their cameras.
Oh, okay, I see.
Edison, are you able to do it quickly for a number of people?
Okay, let's see.
So if you go to participants, because right now only the panelists, okay, I think he's doing that, Celeste, okay, okay. You're doing that already, great.
You can indicate by raise of hand if you want to show your video, show your picture or video, and then Edison will enable you, because not everybody might be willing to show their videos.
Thank you,
so as many will show. Yeah, so as many who indicate interest, we enable them, and then we take a group picture.
Ikechukwu Amazo wants to show face. Okay, maybe I can, because I do have rights as well, Edison. What do I do now? How do you give them access?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma. Good morning, ma.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
All I'm saying is they can talk, Edison. They can talk, and then they can show their videos if they want, because they can talk, but the videos are not showing.
The video is not showing.
I think you have to give the rights for the video.
I think they won't be able to show their video.
Okay, hello, because it's
yeah, so we'll be able to take pictures during the class.
Okay.
So when we're having the classes, we'll be able to take them.
Okay, then that's fine.
Do you have a window for somebody wants to talk? What's your plan now, Edison? You say we can't take questions anymore. But
okay, we can proceed. We can proceed since if any of them too wants to probably pass a comment or something, we can allow them.
So there is Ikechukwu wants to talk. Are you able to unmute the person, Edison?
Okay.
Oguchi Chukwebuka wants to show face. I think he or she is the one that asked about the money. We need to see his or her face. So.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You can talk, but the way the meeting has been set up, you can't see the video. We can't see your video. Okay, Godswill Benjamin, if you have been unmuted, do you want to ask your question? Godswill Benjamin wants to ask a question.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Mrs. Iwashokun.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, please listen. Benjamin has a question.
Okay, my question goes like this. The issue of this artificial intelligence, from my own research, I think it will reduce the number of employees in various fields. I don't know how we can to cope that.
Oh, fantastic question.
Yeah.
So the simple answer is this: it's going to change jobs. So it's for us to now rethink the way we do our work, right? So, hello, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So some jobs might become obsolete, but it's also going to create opportunities for new kind of jobs. I'm going to use a quick scenario for you. I remember when I was much younger, I used to see typewriters a lot around me because my dad was into was a stenographer, yeah, and then at some point an official reporter. But now typewriters are obsolete. Nobody uses typewriter really anymore. You'd only find them maybe around court areas where they still use it to do affidavits or things like that. But then that's to show you how things will transform. The world is transforming, so jobs also will transform. So it's not taking away the jobs, it's only redefining the jobs. Thank you.
Why I ask is, okay, can I go on?
Sorry, I'll have to stop you. I do apologize because we didn't take all the questions in the Q&A box, and then we're allowing voice questions. We stopped the questions from the Q&A box because we thought the facilitator wanted to have an interactive session, which she says the chat box has dealt with. So please, we would stop the audio questions now. Oguchi Chikwebuka, please send me an email or send to Edison, and we can chat one-on-one. But every question that has been put in the Q&A box, we would deal with. And I apologize to the participants because I can see some comments in the chat box with people wondering why we are now taking voice questions when we didn't deal with the questions that were put in the Q&A box. Thank you for that comment and for calling our attention to that. I'm now going to call on Edison to, give us announcements and give us vote of thanks and how this the future projects would take place, the 30 people, and how to take this further. Thank you, Prosper, for that suggestion, a WhatsApp group. Thank you. So Edison, over to you, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma. Can you hear me?
Yes. Would you like me to share the slides again, Edison, for this part?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I appreciate the fact that we joined on time today. A lot of us even came in before the program started properly. So quickly, this is the way we are going to do this. We can only sponsor 30 people. Sorry about that, but that's the best we can do. And for the way we are going to do it is you can send an email just saying that you are interested. For you to participate, you must have attended the webinar, which is today's section. And so that means the 30 people that will be participating will definitely be coming from everyone that have participated today. So you send an email to admin@RealworldDreamSolidFoundation.org. That's the same email where you've been getting our bulk emails. And please, if you have probably deactivated the email in the past, you want to enable it again so that you can keep getting our emails, or you want to get those updates from our social media handles. We are at Facebook, at Twitter, at Instagram, all at Real World Dream Solid Foundation. Please, can we meet ourselves? Thank you. Okay, so I know a lot of us are also looking to participate in the grand prize. We have so many prizes and different categories for different people. Like she mentioned that there's going to be a mini project. That mini project is basically for you to particularize what you have done, what you have learned rather. So the grand prize will be going to the best in that class, and that person will probably be selected by the facilitator. But for you to be a grand prize winner, you must have been following us on social media and be having interactive section with us as well. So that's the reason why we said you should subscribe to our YouTube page, because our Railbots, we do not just support people, we also mentor them as well. So one of the ways we do that is through our YouTube channel. So you can follow our YouTube channel. Please, can we just mute ourselves? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the first prize is 50,000 naira, the second prize is 30, and the third prize is 20,000 naira. And 5 people will also be given 10,000 naira each. So if you want to be part and parcel of this, all you need to do is send an email to admin@realworlddreamsolidfoundation.org. and then we'll reach out to you. Like I said, we only have 30 slots, and some people are already doing that right away. So once you meet all the conditions, then we will be doing it on a first come first serve basis. Okay, so the course outline is there. I think she has given you a breakdown of it, as you can see on your screen. We're also still going to deal with demystifying artificial intelligence and mobile computing, data science, and Python. So that's basically what the course outline looks like, and it's going to last for 6 weeks. After drafting the 30 participants, we'll have you all in a WhatsApp group for easy communication, and so you can fix your classes so that the classes can be held when it's at least convenient for most people. For you to participate, you need 2 things majorly. You need access to a laptop, and you need access to the internet. A practical training is not something you can do via the phone. So please, if you, she mentioned something the other time, if you really want to learn this, it's just for 6 sessions. All you need to do is find a way to get access to the laptop and the internet connection. So that's basically all. One other thing I would like to announce to you is a lot of people have been calling and mailing to find out when we'll be probably giving feedback on the scholarship application. We'll be doing that next week. So you be expecting a mail from us next week. We particularly focused on this project so that we'll come back to that. So, and the fact that your scholarship doesn't stop you from being a beneficiary of our other programs. So then I also want to use this opportunity to thank our sponsors, our partners. There are various ways you can partner with the foundation and help us with our mission. You can do that through donation. You can do that through by adopting a student. We have the Adopt a Student scheme where you can tie your donation to a particular success story. So we also have, you can also sponsor a project like this. We are taking 30 people. You could come and say, oh, what does it take to increase the number of participants? So these are ways you can as well support the foundation. Also, if you would like to volunteer, all you need to do is send us an email that you'd like to volunteer, and we'll contact you on how to go about it and the various projects that we have at hand. For other information, visit our website. If you really want to know more about the foundation, what we are doing, we have those on our website, www.realworlddreamstoryfoundation.com. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can also email us at realworld@gmail.com. Email us at realworlddream@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Edison. Thank you for the additional details you provided. We have some questions on Facebook. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, that joined us from Facebook. We will make sure that your questions are also treated. On behalf of the chairman and the other trustees of the foundation, I want to say thank you to Mrs. Iwashoko again, and to all our volunteers, to the staff of the foundation, the sponsors, and those that support us with financial donations on a regular basis. We say thank you so much. Like I said at the beginning, Realbot is all about little drops making big changes. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Realbot. This webinar is very great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please put your name.